Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Beginning in southeast Nebraska, where court documents are revealing more details on the investigation into a recent murder. 51-year-old Christopher Milkey being held in Gage County on suspicion of first-degree murder, kidnapping, and a felony weapon count. Well, a recently filed search warrant details a harrowing scene from September 8th when 42-year-old Tammy Leslie was found dead in her Beatrice home. Police say they were called by Leslie's 19-year-old daughter, who told police Milkey had told her he'd killed Leslie. Leslie's 11-year-old son was in the home at the time, told police he heard 4 gunshots. The kids told police that Milkey had then screwed the doors shut, keeping them from exiting the house. Now, witnesses told police this wasn't the first violent incident at that home, saying Milkey fired a gun at Leslie back in June, but police weren't called then. Milkey's next court date has not yet been set. Meanwhile, the man convicted of killing a Fauner Park horseman last year appealing his conviction and sentence. 21-year-old Logan Huntshorse was convicted of second-degree murder and a weapon offense in the death of 62-year-old Todd Shear at a Fauner Park horse barn in Grand Island last year. Investigators say Huntshorse, who's from South Dakota, shot Shear in the stomach before beating him to death with a baseball bat. Now, this past July, Huntshorse was sentenced to a minimum of 64 years in prison. He appealed his case to the Nebraska Court of Appeals last month. According to court filings, he intends to argue his case was mishandled during 3 hearings, and he intends to appeal his sentencing. The appeals court says he must file a brief disputing the case by October 10th. A year-old U.S. Supreme Court case means relief for 2 Nebraskans who faced losing their homes when investment firms bought their property for unpaid property taxes. Legal Aid of Nebraska appealed a Nebraska State Supreme Court ruling that said the homeowners weren't entitled to the equity in their homes. But in the landmark case last year, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that homeowners in that situation must be paid for any surplus equity after taxes and fees. That vacated the decision of the Nebraska Supreme Court, who then revisited the case, concluding the Nebraska homeowners must receive just compensation for their equity. Attorneys say this decision could open doors for others similarly affected.
The bottom line is people who think they have a claim should reach out to Legal Aid of Nebraska. They could also reach out to property rights attorneys, eminent domain attorneys, and ultimately this decision is going to protect Nebraska's weakest population the most.
Legal Aid of Nebraska says it's a victory not just for these 2 homeowners, for all Nebraskans, that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled that people have a property right to their home equity.
It is still possible for someone to lose their home, but if they are going to lose the home, they are going to at least get equity out of it. It's kind of incredible that both of these elderly clients have a chance maybe at keeping their homes.
The Tyler decision is fully retroactive. Last year, Nebraska law was changed to require that homeowners receive any surplus equity in delinquent property tax sales. Boeing contract negotiations resuming, according to a union representative. The source says a federal mediator is holding discussions on Tuesday, the first time Boeing and union leaders will sit down since a massive strike began last week. Amy Kiley has more on the financial pressure to make a deal.
With about 33,000 Boeing workers on strike.
I want to be able to get a home for her and live the American dream.
Contract negotiations appear to be resuming. A federal mediator is facilitating talks today, according to a union representative.
A lot of us have to work weekends, overtime, and there's no balance.
Boeing's main aircraft production is virtually shut down due to the strike. Analysts say the walkout could cost the company more than $1 billion if it lasts for months.
having a fight with their union and going out on strike doesn't help your quality, doesn't help your public perception, doesn't help their stock price either.
In a memo to employees, Boeing CFO acknowledges the financial strain and announces cost-saving measures. They include a hiring freeze, travel reductions, consideration of furloughs, charitable donation cuts, and more.
They really do need to get this solved quickly, but the solution's also expensive. The solution's to pay more money.
Many striking workers say they want better pay and benefits.
We're just looking forward to bring back some kind of consideration from our CEOs. We're very proud of what we do, and we hold what we do in high regards, and we would like Boeing to recognize that now.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Closer to home, the Hastings City Council has approved the city budget for the next fiscal year. The budget passed unanimously on Monday. One of the items on that budget includes a new jet hangar for the Hastings Municipal Airport, carrying a price tag of $750,000. City officials say the new hangar will change the airport status from municipal to regional and also make the facility eligible for more grants. A construction date for the new hangar has not yet been revealed. Students today deal with a lot of pressures, both in school and on social media. Last night, a speaker at a Northeast Nebraska school talked about the different world that kids today deal with. Luke Stera has more.
High school can be confusing now more than ever.
Well, the social pressure that young people face today is much greater than it was 20 years ago, even 10 years ago.
Mike Donahue has spoken to more than 1 million students over the past 2 decades to help them navigate these years. He tours the country through Value Up, a Nebraska-based company that focuses on fostering positive school culture. On Monday night, he spoke to Norfolk parents, suggesting ways parents can improve communication with their children. His talks come after recent stressors, such as the deadly Georgia high school shooting and the incident at Omaha Northwest High School where a 15-year-old was shot. Donahue emphasizes that social media has also added pressure to students' lives.
Because of social media, these kids are now connected to kids in Detroit, kids in Boston, kids in Texas, whatever. So their worldview is being formed by different parts of the country.
Along with these connections, Donahue stresses the importance of parents understanding what their kids are going through.
What I try to help parents with is that pressure piece, that they understand that why their kids are under so much pressure today, and why it's different than when they were in high school.
Donahue will continue his tour of Nebraska, returning to Norfolk on Tuesday before heading to O'Neill and Humphrey to round off his talks in the state. Reporting for News Channel Nebraska, this is Luke Stera.
Well, after years without a functioning video board, UNK officials say they plan to have a new one installed at Cope Stadium before the end of the football season. Athletic Director Mark Bowers says the school's new video board could be installed and ready by the homecoming football game on October 12th.
I know our video coordinator who does all our production, Jeff Babel, he's excited. He's excited to get his hands on this thing and see what it does and see how it can change the atmosphere for our fans and our student athletes.
All that's up right now is the structure to support the video board. The traditional analog scoreboard still being used, but it's not attached to the structure anymore. UNK's been using portable speakers this fall for the second straight year. Bauer says the previous scoreboard structure had 8 built-in speakers, but 5 of them were fried, perhaps by a lightning strike. A new permanent set of speakers will be in place before the next football season. A fall weather impacting more than just September, not feeling like fall in Nebraska. It's also impacting a major part of fall. Jake Bartecki has more.
There's lots of things to love about fall. Sports-wise, it's the beginning of the football season and playoff baseball, and lots of seasonal activities and, of course, Halloween. But one thing that's synonymous with the season is fall color change. However, if you've lived in Nebraska, you've likely felt the weather's been anything but fall-like, with temperatures in the 80s and above average for the next 10 days. To see how that might impact leaf color change in 2024, I talked with experts in the Nebraska field of forestry.
The warmer the weather we have, it's going to delay the timing of that leaf change a little bit because it's The hotter and drier temperatures don't promote that vibrant color as much as cooler and wetter weather do.
Brandon Seek is a forester for the Nebraska Forest Service and adds that wetter weather provides more vibrant fall color. While it's not to say Nebraska won't have much color this year, with much of the state in a drought, it could be delayed or subdued. However, Eric North of the Arbor Day Foundation says cooler nights with temperatures in the 40s can help.
End of August, beginning of September, you get a couple of those really cool nights that come in. Trees start to get that signal that, yeah, it really is time for fall.
While it's still early in the season, you may look one way and see trees with green leaves as you'd expect during the middle of the summer. But look the other way and you'll see dots of fall colors like orange, yellow, and red. North and Seek say this can be from a number of factors.
There can be other factors individual to each tree that will cause it to start to change earlier, and that can be disease. It can be stress from drought-related issues. And so if that tree is experiencing any kind of a health problem, it probably will change sooner than a very healthy tree will.
So for instance, if you have insects that are eating one branch or something of a tree, you might see that branch all of a sudden starts to go through what looks like whatever its fall colors are.
While it's been a dry end of the summer and start to fall, Seek says Nebraska's peak color change depends on where you're at.
I would say northern Nebraska will probably peak around the 3rd to 4th week of October, and then the southern portion of Nebraska will be the 4th week of October into the 1st of November timeframe.
Now, Seek also provided some insight as to where Nebraskans can go across the state to see some fall color change in its peak. The resounding answer was the eastern portion of the state as well as southeast Nebraska, particularly Indian Cave State Park along the Missouri River. In Lincoln, Jake Bartecki, News Channel Nebraska.
And while it is unseasonably warm, it is still the season to apply for a seasonal job. Target says it's hiring 100,000 seasonal workers this holiday season. They'll be supporting order pickup and drive-up customers as well as stocking shelves. Those work applications can be submitted starting on the 25th of September. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the news tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thanks for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.